I've been really into anime lately. I've started watching a lot of shows. How long ago? I think the last one I finished watching recently. Wow, I've actually completed a lot because I didn't watch anything until I think Attack on Titan. Apparently, I ended with The Promised Neverland. I finished. This is my anime list. If anyone wants to friend me, I'd be very happy. I have like 4 friends, and I don't even know half of them, and most of them are not active. But I last watched anime May 5th, 2024. I don't even remember finishing The Promised Neverland season 2. I watched season 1 with my mom and sister, and we really loved it. But yeah, season 2, it fell off majorly. So I started picking it up again back in March. So it's been, oh my gosh, it's been 7 months since then. I pretty much binged all of Bungo Stray Dogs, which, as you can see from my scores, I didn't really like it that much. At first. First season was great. I watched that like years ago. I forget how long ago. But I picked up season 2, then I watched season 3. It was all mid. I even watched the OVAs, I don't know, and the movie. So confusing. I just didn't like it. But then season 4, it went crazy. Season 4 was so good. It made watching the earlier seasons worth it. And originally I didn't know this. I was watching it like it was some sort of punishment. I didn't know that there was actually going to be payback. I just wanted to finish. I'm a completionist, if you couldn't tell from my Genshin and HSR, all of my Hoyo, whatever. I'm such a completionist. It's actually insane. So I was stunned. And then which was it? Season 5 was freaking amazing. I literally gave it a 10 out of 10. I usually reserve that for the first couple of animes I've watched. I think like Oran High School Host Club and Death Note. I don't even know if I gave Death Note a 10, but Death Note's one of my favorites. This one, summer 2023. I don't know when they're going to release a new season, but I think Bungo Stray Dogs is more of a thing in Japan. The fandom here is pretty small. Usually after I finish an anime, I go onto TikTok to see if there's like any edits. And there are, like, it's still like a fandom, but it's like Hitalia. Like, basically no one is around anymore. Still, I wasn't even going to talk about Bungo Stray Dogs. I was going to talk about Dr. Stone, but because that's one of the most recent animes I finished. But since I'm here, I'll just go through what I've watched so far. What did I say about Bungo Stray Dogs? Oh wait, let me tell you my strategy. So I'm a seasonal anime watcher. Basically what I do, and I tried to do this years ago, and obviously it never panned out, but Mal is really nice because it organizes everything by season. So, no, I'm not in fall 2016. I'm in 2019. So I go to seasonal anime, winter 2019. And this is kind of where I stopped. I will just go through the list and watch all of them, except back then I wasn't very committed. I didn't want to go back. I actually watched Mob Psycho season 1. I watched like a couple episodes of it, 3 episode rule, if you know, you know. And it just didn't hit for me. I will go back and watch it. I will. Because everyone says it's so good and I feel like I'm missing out. So I will go back and watch it. And sometimes it's not that the anime is bad. It's just I'm not in the mood for it. And there are shows I feel like where I watched it when I was really had a low attention span and I just didn't like it because I wasn't focused. So this was back then. I haven't watched any new shows from the winter 2019 season, but I really liked. The funny thing is, my dad loves Rise of the Shield Hero. Probably not like the later seasons because I looked and it literally has like 4 seasons after this. I thought it would be like a one and done show because I didn't think it was like that popular. But it has, I think it's on season 4. My dad would not want. I don't think my dad would like it anymore if we watch any of the other seasons. My dad is like a pariah where he feels like he has to rescue everyone and no one appreciates him. And I think he really resonated with the fact that the main character in this game, I mean, in this show was like, what? He started from zero and had no respect and he was just dealt a really bad hand. And he eventually, through his power, like, I don't even think my dad liked the hard work part of it, just like the whole, everyone underestimated me and now I beat all of them. I think he really liked that part. I think that's a very man thing to like. I mean, I thought it was satisfying to watch as well. But obviously after the initial, like, barriers, what am I even saying? After the initial, like, rise, when he gets to that peak, the rest of it just is kind of like, meh, I don't really care anymore. Dororo was surprisingly good. I didn't think I would like it. I don't like the child, though. She was very annoying. I actually tried to watch this one, the redheaded 5 sisters. It's not for me. Kakagurui was okay. It was like the second season. It was whatever. Domestic no Kanojo, all of the anime YouTubers, like, raved about this because it's so bad it's good. I hate that term. If it's you enjoy it, it's good, no matter what, even if it's bad. This one was just straight up bad. Like, it wasn't even so bad. It wasn't enjoyable to me at all. Oh, if I could recommend anything, I would recommend Boogie Pop. Boogie Pop. Boogie Pop was so good. I only give it an 8, but because I was confused a lot of the times. It's a very, like, dense story, I feel like, but I would really recommend it. I'm not even being, like, a niche person. I'm legitimately, like, I like that show for some reason. And then I didn't really get to anything else. I kind of gave up. I really did give up. Sometimes I go down here too, especially the Onas, but I guess I didn't watch anything. And spring 2019, I kind of picked up here. I watched Demon Slayer. I feel like I should rank it lower because I went in not liking it, and if I go in not liking it and you make me like the show, then I usually think more highly of it because I went in with a bias. But I don't really look back thinking, oh my gosh, I want to watch Demon Slayer. I don't really care about Demon Slayer. For some reason, I'm very critical of Attack on Titan, but I love Attack on Titan. I don't know why I'm so critical. I hated the animation change, and sometimes I got confused. So I think this is an unfair score, an 8. One Punch Man Season 2 was really bad. I saw people rating the current season of One Punch Man for, what is that, fall, winter, 2025. People are beating its ass. It's actually so funny. I was like, is it really that bad? Because I've been on the One Punch Man fell off train for a while. Yeah, One Punch Man Season 3, 6.8. I think it was lower. But for a show that just started and is on, like, what, episode 2. It's October 28th. How many episodes have there been? Like, people hate it. I think lots of people, like, rated it higher recently. But yesterday, but look, all of these are not recommended. They're beating its ass. I don't know. I'll definitely watch it. I don't watch shows with biases, except for Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I can't get behind that show. I went in not wanting to like it, and I still couldn't like it, and I dropped it 3 times, and I quit anime because I couldn't stand watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like, it literally led to my hiatus 3 separate times. I just can't watch that show. I will watch that show eventually, but I don't know. Something about it is really bad. Fruits Basket, I gave it a 9, mostly because I think it's a very, like, not because it was really entertaining. I don't really recall me being, like, enraptured by it, but I like the vibes. I watched the original version too, way later. I was not an OG watcher, but it's very, like, comfy vibes, and, like, it makes me sad. Oh, and then I watched Carole Tuesday. I thought this was so bad. I remember back in the day, people praised this show so much. I feel like it was way higher on this list. Like, I feel like it was in the top, well, maybe not the top, but I feel like it was way higher, and people always were like, it's such a beautiful story, and blah, 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 and it's, like, okay. And the songs are not that good either. I don't think there was a single song I really liked, except for, like, the opening. I liked the opening, but even then it was, like, meh. To me, I don't like shows where I can kind of predict where the story ends. I like to be surprised. I like to be the dumb one. And for Carole Tuesday, everything kind of went the way you would expect it to go. People are stereotyped in the typical way you would think a character would be written. They're written that way. And it was not surprising, and it felt, low-key, it felt AI generated. Not gonna lie, it had, ironically enough, the only interesting part for me, for Carole Tuesday, was the fact that AI was a story point, especially considering that it was back in 2019 where we didn't have this whole, like, AI freak out behavior. But I don't agree with some of the reviews. Some of the reviews are, like, freaking nasty. Like, they're kind of racist, not gonna lie. I don't agree with them. They're like, it's too PC. Moments were ruined by agendas. But I do agree with this. Like, the performances felt generic and safe, and I just hated how they, I don't know, they don't always win, but the whole, like, competition scene where they say, like, spoilers, but they were in a singing competition, and they were, due to circumstances, like, what is her name? Tuesday, the blonde girl. She's from a rich family. She was, like, kidnapped by her family's bodyguard and put into a room, and they have to, like, break her out. But as a result, they were late to the performance, the competition. And if you're late, you're disqualified. And the judges were like, you do know you're disqualified, but we'll let you perform anyways. And then the song was so beautiful and touching that the judges were like, you guys, we shouldn't disqualify them. It was such a beautiful song. And then they tie with Angela, who I did like Angela. Angela is, like, their rival, but there's no animosity between them. She's just another, like, she's a model who wants to become a singer and works really hard and has a momager. She was, like, the only compelling character to me. Maybe I have, like, a villain bias, but it was just not impressive. I think the fact that so many people hyped the show up did, like, put a bitter taste in my mouth. And then I also watched Bungo Stray Dogs, obviously. It's right over there. And I had my reviews. I just binged it. Yeah. I hated it. Oh, yeah, and I ended up watching it 2 times speed. Because I want to finish the shows, I'm a 2 times speed watcher sometimes. If you are bad, we're speeding you up. What else? Carole Tuesday specials were also bad. Oh, yeah, now we get to the good stuff. Dr. Stone. I want to do a separate one on that. Oh, yeah, so I watched Kono Ote Tomare. I watched that a while back, and it was pretty okay. I think the characters were nice looking, and the animation was pretty, but, I don't know, and it had some, like, hard-hitting moments. Like, it's a competition, high school competition sort of genre, and those are always, like, hard hitters in terms of power friendship and working hard, and we need to win because it's our senior's last year. Like, you know, all that stuff. Ao-chan, I liked the show for some reason. It's ecchi. Can you believe that? I don't think it was, like, that vulgar. I actually don't mind ecchi shows as long as the story's good. I don't think it was that ecchi, though. It was more like comedy there. And the guy was a tsundere. And that is why I watched, because I was like, oh my gosh, finally, we have some variety in, like, the romance. And Ao-chan is, I think, just stupid. But I think that's, like, funny. Sarazanmai, I love Sarazanmai. I cannot believe it has such little popularity. And I think it's because the first 3 episodes were very boring. After that, it gets really good. And I don't even like, it's a, I think people kind of perceived it as like a gag comedy type of show with no depth. But after you watch more and more episodes, you realize it is, I don't think it's that deep, but it's like meaningful. There's actually intention behind the story. And it's by Mappa. And I think a lot of people, when they first, their initial impressions was, why would Mappa put out something so shitty? Like, I expected more from them. But I think it is up to the standard of Mappa. And I don't think I watched anything else after that. Oh yeah, I watched Seven Seeds. I love Seven Seeds. It's like my guilty pleasure. And people hate it for some reason. I don't know why. But it's like a survival. It's a survival, like, yeah, survival show, thriller. It's good. I recommend it. I gave it an 8. And then I'm beginning to make my way through summer 2019. I kind of want to do like a whole recap of every show. But I did finish Dr. Stone. And I watched all the seasons up to the most recent one. And actually, the most recent one was literally last season, 2025. And there's going to be another one in 2026. So I'm excited for that. I didn't think Dr. Stone would be that good, but it's really that good. I really recommend it. Even though I didn't like the first episode that much. I dropped it actually a while back, like a couple years ago. I watched the first episode and it just wasn't my style, especially because the characters are really ugly. But don't judge. Just watch it. It fits. Like, it fits really well. I'm in the middle of watching Vinland Saga. It's okay. I really don't think it's that great. Yes, this video is in 1.5 speed because I hear myself and I talk so slow. But I'm going to interrupt and say that I finished watching Vinland Saga Season 2. And it has changed my perspective completely about Season 1. I take back what I said, except for the fact that the people in the Reddit post that I'm going to go to are really overly defensive. Because in my opinion, without Season 2, Season 1 is not as good as people make it out to be. Except for Askeladd. But I really love the show. It's actually like, I feel Vinland Saga is a must watch. Everyone should watch it. It's like a biblical experience. I think people like it because there are very few European-focused shows, and there is a type of weeb that is super white and likes Vikings and manly shows. So it's like a show where you feel like, and it deals with like serious topics, I guess. Not really. It's just a Viking show with Viking drama. And to me, it falls in the same trap as Carole Tuesday, where everything makes sense and the story flows exactly the way I expect it to. Like, we see the same tropes of sacrifice and honor and, oh, I'm like emotionless and I just want my revenge and I'm really skilled now and I can do whatever I want and I'll sacrifice all these innocent people because I'm blinded by my revenge. I don't know. It was like, okay, I've heard, oh my gosh, that is so funny. I try not to like look at spoilers, but I'm already at episode 9. And I had to get the opinion on Vinland Saga. I try not to like have outside opinions influence me, but I had to look at, because I was so curious. I was like, this show has almost a 9 rating, which is really high. And I feel like it's not deserved because it's like, okay. And like I said before, it's like a certain type of demographic that would really feel obligated to rate the show high. Like how people view silly shows that deal with stupid topics as kind of like trash. And regardless of how well made it is, they'll rate it lower just because they feel like it deserves lower based on its genre or how it deals with certain topics. And then for serious shows with history and Europe and blah, 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 you're obligated to rate it higher. I don't know. I just feel like it fell into that sort of thing where people have to like it because everyone else likes it. And this post like summed it up for me so well. And honestly, the responses to this post made me like laugh even more. So this guy has the same opinion as me. The series stuff suffers with 1.5 dimensional characters who feel like they were ripped out of, I don't know if battle shonen is the right word, but I agree, and stuck in a slightly edgier setting. Exactly. I feel like most of the characters I've come across, beside the one character, Askeladd, who I think he mentions. Yes, Askeladd. Askeladd is actually a great character, and not just even though I feel like initially he did feel one-dimensional as well, but then you learn about his lineage, and it makes him more interesting. Because he's the type of character that is very likable because he always comes out on top, and he's like sort of a trickster, and he also doesn't take things so seriously. So like a troll, you know? And people are, but he's very skilled, and he's a leader. And people like that. I like that. But everyone else was, even like the good, quote-unquote good characters, are very one-dimensional. Thor's is written to pull a complete 180 and become a pacifist in basically an instant. I don't know about Thor's. Thor's is the main character's dad, who was like a really strong warrior, but now like but he doesn't like to use weapons or kill people. When he was major spoils, but it's episode 4 spoiler, so take that as you will. He basically was in a situation where he had to go up against these people who want to kill him. And his son is also on the ship, and 5 other village boys who are not physically capable at all. And he fights this gang of skilled mercenaries, and he fights them without his weapon. He just kind of like punches them, and none of them die. They realize, oh, none of us were dead. Even though he incapacitated all of us, none of us died. So I get what he's saying, but my bigger thing Actually, I made this comment. I was like, where is it? Oh, currently watching. Thorfinn, because okay, Thorfinn is the main character, and when he was a child and on the ship, he was a weakling, and when his dad, and he basically attached himself to the band of mercenaries that cooked his dad, he kept on trying to fight them, and he was incapable as fuck. Obviously, he's like 5 years old, but it was so annoying to watch him like think he could pick a fight, and all the men were like amused. They're like, "Oh, he's not fearful at all." I'm like, "Yeah, because he's stupid." I don't think that's a virtue. I think that's like really annoying. So I said, basically, he went through a training arc, which wasn't even a training arc. It was like 2 seconds long. I said, Thorfinn is now a warrior, and while I thought it was a bit unrealistic due to the fact he was such a loser before, I'm glad they didn't put us through watching his training arc. That would have been so annoying. Because now, he is like the most capable soldier guy, aside from Askeladd, because he can't beat Askeladd, but he could like basically beat anyone else they come across in a very unrealistic way. So, I mean, they didn't show us any of that progress. They just kind of showed like him practicing and whatever. He didn't really fail, but I'm glad. Apparently, Vinland Saga is like a prequel, so that makes sense why it's less detailed upon, because in the anime, this came, I guess, in the middle of the manga. So this is just like they just did it out of order. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh yeah, I made this video because I kind of just want to talk about anime now after I watched one. Because my iPad is out of commission. It's not. I smelled something like my charger port burning, and that happened after it got into a car accident, and the charging port got kind of damaged, and it started smelling bad when I charged it. And then I went to the Apple store, and they cleaned it, and that kind of solved the problem. But it's come back, and I don't want to like damage it further because I'll be really sad if I can't play Hoyoverse games at all, because I'm still gonna play Hoyoverse games. I just want to be careful not to burn it up. So I'll play that on my own. I probably won't be uploading that many videos anymore. I kind of am bored of, I'm not bored of doing that, but it's a little time consuming, and I think I should go outside more and, you know, live my life. But I'm watching anime, and I think that's fine. I like anime. For now, I'll watch Fullmetal Alchemist, and then I'll quit once I'm ready. And the responses just don't accept it. Like, people are hating on OP, and they're saying that it's reductive. Yeah, so they're saying that his opinion on Thorfinn is reductive, because his dad was murdered in front of him, and that's mentally tolling. But I just don't think that's an excuse. Like, I mean, that's like, I just don't think that detracts from the criticism at all. Because even if that's an explanation for why Thorfinn is this emotionless, super edgy murder robot only driven by revenge, that doesn't mean that I need to find that a compelling character. Especially as a main character, it is a very one-dimensional. I don't think that's a very interesting backstory. I think there's just nothing special about him. I don't want to watch someone who's kind of like a super soldier with no emotions. What else? Yeah, exactly. It's not that it's unreasonable for him to be traumatized, but there's the fact that there's nothing more to his character that has developed ever. And that's been true up to this point. I think I've watched maybe to episode 15, and it's still the same thing. Someone says, Thorfinn is a child soldier trapped in a system that requires him to murder innocent people. What kind of character development are you expecting from a kid? And honestly, I don't know. I just know it's not fun to watch. I don't care about Thorfinn. I don't care about anyone in the show besides Askeladd, and if Askeladd does die, then the show has no good characters anymore. You're blaming Thorfinn for wanting to stick around with his dad when he was still a dumb kid. Kids are stupid sometimes. I was not that stupid. I would never sneak onto a ship that is going to war, basically, as a 5-year-old. That is really fucking stupid. I'm sorry. That's not realistic. And if any kid did that, they deserve to have their ass beat. I'm just joking. I'm not pro-child abuse, but, like, what do you expect? I expect a child not to do that. And if they do that, that's not a character I'd care about watching. I think these people, like, they're defending the show by stating facts about the show, but those facts don't change the fact that it's not interesting. Kids often romanticize violence. This is common amongst all cultures. Is that really true? I'm not sure. Revenge can be a long and mundane road. This is so Reddit. And then finally, someone admits it. Of course he's one-dimensional, but they're like giving an excuse as to why that's okay, as to why that's normal. But there are some people that are reasonable. You would absolutely not be wrong to say that season 1 is not about Thorfinn, but rather Askeladd, who you will quickly see is an incredibly written character. Exactly. Yeah, thank you, Dragon Spring's sake. Like, someone who's not overly defensive. This guy is really defensive. If you don't like it, that's perfectly fine, but some points here are just wrong. Actually, no, he's right about this. I don't think Thors is one-dimensional. Thors was one of my favorite characters, even though he fit into a stereotype. Thors is Thorfinn's dad. Even though he fit into a stereotype, I didn't mind it, because it was a good one. Thorfinn isn't overpowered, he is. And I can forgive him for being angsty when his dad was killed right in front of him. And I can't. because it was also his fault that his dad got killed in front of him. Both seasons are top notch. Very different, still, both insane. From my point of view, a way better anime than many others from last year that's been hyped while being really basic and bad. That's hilarious. I disagree. You're confused by realistic, meaning a bunch of different things. This one's true. I wasn't really into season 1, but season 2 was incredible. I still think the character writing is a little overrated, since they can sometimes feel more like personifications of philosophies than real people. Respectable. I respect an opinion like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's always fun watching people get really defensive because I feel the same way about HOYOverse games. They don't get enough credit. But in terms of Vinland Saga, like, I don't get why these people are defensive because it has great scores. So I don't really see a reason for them to get so scared of people disagreeing once in a while. Genshin, on the other hand, has haters, like, every day. Like, I literally saw a video from this YouTuber called Glavekio. I don't watch his videos, but his videos do come up on my recommended because he's like a Wuwa Genshin hater if you watch his videos. And he captioned a Milliastra Wonderland video as "they lost their minds." And I'm going to be a Milliastra Wonderland defender because I've watched people glaze the shit out of Blue Protocol, who also has paywalled cosmetic items. Also, their cosmetics look really shitty, so Blue Protocol looks ugly as fuck. No offense. But people were like, this is the ideal way to monetize. Just cosmetic items that don't affect gameplay. And now I'm watching the Genshin community, like, change the meaning of pay to win to also include cosmetic items. Because they're like, well, technically, the whole point of Milliastra Wonderland is to win outfits, so... And I'm like, that's not pay to win, because it doesn't give you a game advantage. That's just a prize. Like, the outfits don't give you any advantage in the game itself. It's just a prize. And also, you're being short-sighted. Like, for me, as someone who doesn't spend money, let the whales have their exclusivity, because they are funding Snezhnaya. They are funding Hanria. Like, I'm happy. Let them have their Alicia bow. We don't need that. No one cares. Alicia will be forgotten in, like, 5 years from now. Let's just enjoy the actual content we get, and understand that oh my gosh, I had someone on Twitter say to me today, they already made $1 billion on the first year of Genshin. So they don't need to make any more money. Well, they didn't say that part, but that's what they're implying. Since they made $1 billion, HOYOverse doesn't need to make any more money or monetize like that. And to that I say, like, there's a reason why cosmetic items are priced so high. Because you're paying the price for exclusivity. You're not paying the price for the item. The people who the item is made to be purchased by are people who don't think $300 is a lot of money. If you think that's a lot of money, you're not supposed to buy it. You're supposed to enjoy the game for free. That is the gift of the whales and the devs to us peasants. I don't understand why people are so... They lost their minds. They lost their minds by making the fancy outfits paywalled. I don't think that's... I'm just realizing, like, the devs literally cannot do anything because there's such a strange standard placed on them. And this is so not off topic, but it just really pissed me off because I just feel like there will always be something to be mad about. And a lot of the fun for these people is finding ways to stir up controversy. That's why Wuwa YouTubers still talk about Genshin, because it's fun for them to bash things on the head. And I think that's really... It's really ugly behavior, and we all participate in it in one way or another, but that doesn't take away how ugly it is. And that's all. That's all I want to say.